Hi, everybody. Another live podcast. This takes a little bit of human courage because who knows what's going to happen here today, but that makes it kind of fun. Those of you who can't join us live, who are watching later, no worries. It's going to have the same energy. And the energy today is brought to you by my friend and assistant, Christy Majors. Hi, Christy.
Hi, Suzanne. Hi, everybody. Glad you're here with us today.
Yeah, Christy is our podcast producer. So she's usually behind the scenes, but I had promised all of you to do more of these live Q&A sessions. So I have six assistants here in the US, and one by one we'll get them in to moderate the questions. So the lovely Bev did the last one. Hi, Bev. I know you're watching. And she has tutored Christy in how to take some questions that were submitted previously, but also how to pull them from those of you watching and chatting live. So cool. I have to tell you, Christy, this is a week of Q&As for me. I have this one, will go about an hour today. Then I'm teaching a class for the Shift Network on being in the flow and how mediumship helps with that. Module 5 is this Wednesday, and it's a solid hour and a half of Q&A. I decided that's what everybody wants, and that's what we'll do. And then this Tuesday night, for those of you who are watching live, this Tuesday night is my monthly connection webinar. And our new format for 2025 has me doing probably a half hour of Q&As because people seem to like that. I feel the reason they like it so much is because the answers aren't just coming from me. I'm tuning into my guides and spirits, Sanaya, and it's always interesting to see what they have to say and how it comes through. So again, I don't know what any of the questions are. Christy and I were talking beforehand. She is very intuitive. Why don't you tell them what you were saying about what you were feeling, Christy?
Susanna asked me if I was nervous, and I said, no, I'm not nervous at all. I just could feel the energy ramping up in the past 30 minutes or so, and it feels like butterflies in my stomach. And in the past, I would have felt like I was anxious. I didn't know what, I just attribute it to anxiety. But now I know it's just spirit connecting with me.
That's it. So do you all feel it now too? Because you're part of this group. We're all bringing that energy into it. Now I got the first goosebumps of the show. Yeah, that high vibe. Okay, so let's do it.
Okay. Our first question is from the audience from Pam. She says, I'm a hospice nurse, and while I feel like I do a good job of helping souls transition easily, I wonder if I could do more.
Okay. And the fact that you ask the question answers the question. The fact that you feel you could be doing more shows that you could. And the guides say we can always be doing more. So how do we do that? More is why we came here. Evolution, finding a better way, a more fun way, a more joyous way to bring more love into our world. So Spirit wants to make sure that, Pam, this is not just for you. That's why I love these questions. They apply to all of us. But as you feel that feeling, what more could I be doing? That's your chance to turn within instead of thinking and screwing up your face. Relax, go within, take a deep breath and ask from the center of you to the center of all that is, what is the best thing for me to be doing for my patients right now? How can I bring more of you, Spirit, through me to help these souls? And you'll just know. And I feel that, yeah, Spirit says, as you ask that question, you're already doing more. So the more right now is to take that extra step and pause and tune in moment by moment with each patient because it's going to be different for each patient. So awesome. I'll tell you, I don't know about you, Christy, but both of my parents have passed, and you haven't been working with me long enough to know too much of your personal history, although that's coming soon. We're all getting together for a little retreat here soon. But both of my parents passed in hospice, and it was such a sacred time. And the hospice staff and the nurses are angels. Anybody that's been through that experience knows that. So good question. Thank you.
Here's one from Marie. It's an interesting perspective. I hadn't even thought of this. Do souls reminisce over shared experiences once they are across the veil?
Oh my. The answer came to me immediately, but just let me tune in here. The Spirit says, yes, and they do not just reminisce, they relive the experiences viscerally. I got that little shoulder shake was the goosebumps. Spirit shows me that everything is vibration, everything is an experience in consciousness. We call our dreams not real, but they are experiences in consciousness. And I'm being shown that in the spirit world, we relive our experiences here and they become very real to the point that we feel everything again. But we get to choose, let's relive and refeel the experiences that were helpful, that were filled with love, and those that weren't. They work together to rewrite that experience so that we actually bring that love more present here and now across the veil. We can do that here in meditation. If you have a painful experience that you might have some regret about or shame, go into meditation, ask Spirit to guide you, go back to that time and re-experience it. Literally feel yourself reliving it and then bring that energy forward to now. We may not be able to rewrite the events of the past, but we can rewrite our reactions, and that changes the energy in our field and those around us here and now. Oh, good stuff.
I had an experience when I was doing my Reiki training. When I was the second class, we did that. We went back to an experience that was either painful or uncomfortable, and did Reiki on the experience, and it really shifted the energy around that for me. It was beautiful.
Nice. Okay, buddy. Good
Hey.
tip.
This is from Sarah. Do you have tips on how to enlist my guides, angels, and loved ones across the veil to assist me with lucid dreaming? To move away from disturbing dreams.
Yeah, I'm laughing because that word lucid has really been in the forefront of my awareness all week. And the guides say to tell you the reason why is because they were giving me the awareness again that this life is like a dream. People may kick and scream when we say that because we say, but it's real and I really heard, or it's very solid, but it is a state of consciousness. And to become aware that all is simply an experience in consciousness, no matter in your dream state, in this waking state, in the next phase of the afterlife, these are states of consciousness. To become aware of that is to be lucid, which is why lucid dreams are so awesome, because you're aware you're experiencing an altered state of consciousness. Better said, alternate state of consciousness, because altered state makes you feel like it shouldn't be that way. So to have more of these lucid dream experiences, simply say to your guides and your loved ones, help me with this. I know you're already doing that, the one who asked the question, but state it again from the heart and ask your unemployed angels to show you why the disturbing dreams are coming up. You don't want them to just go away. All unpleasant experiences arise from energy that is trying to be set free, dense energy. So if we just want our dreams to go away, we haven't learned anything from it. We haven't released a blockage that is ready to go. They are an indicator that something's not flowing correctly. So ask your angels, show me as painlessly as possible what is going on in my subconscious mind, in the energy field, that's causing these dreams to come up. I had a recurring unpleasant dream and did that, and it was shown to me what was going on in my dreams. In meditation, we rewrote that story, and I was just thinking this morning, Christy, that I haven't had those dreams again. So I love that Spirit just showed us how we want stuff to just go away, but it's here for a reason. Ask and be helped to free it.
That's beautiful.
Nice.
We have a question from Candace, and she says, I'm sure you've probably answered this many times, but I don't think you can answer this too many times, Suzanne, especially for people who may be new and don't know this. But how can I clear my chakra and center myself?
That's interesting because as I hear Christy say chakra, I want to say, but there's more than one
I
chakra.
meant chakras.
Oh, okay, that wasn't the
It
question.
says chakra, but you're right.
How do I clear my chakras and center myself? Well, first, absolutely trust and believe that these energy centers, these exchange points of energy between your energy field and the one field of consciousness, are very real. We can't detect them with instruments, but they are helping the flow of the life force through you. My guides are reminding me that they have used the analogy that chakras are like roundabouts in the traffic flow of the life force. It comes into the circle and then it goes out to various parts of the body, but it also goes straight up and down. So when the life force gets congested from others' energy around you, from your own thoughts, absolutely restriction takes place. So believing that they're real, believing that you can affect the flow simply by using consciousness, that's your superpower because you are consciousness. Go through each of the energy centers. We accept 7 of them in the Western methodology. Eastern methodology has 3. There are others that have 13. It's simply a matter of understanding energy flows, and it goes through certain nodes in this matrix of energy. So ask spirit. You can see where the blockages are, never completely blocked, or it would be like a tourniquet that cuts off limbs completely and then it would die. We're not cut off completely. It just gets dense and it manifests in our awareness as challenges. So ask spirit to clear any dense energy, allow my body to do what it innately knows how to do, find balance again. And Christy, you knew I was going to go to my chakra balancing meditation. It's called the 10-minute transformation. A little later in this program, I will show you a slide of how you can find that. But spend some time going through each of the 7 chakras that we usually focus upon. And just focusing on each of them, you become centered, meaning your awareness is not going out to the objective world and being scattered. It's focused. That's what centered is, just focused on one thing. And when you do that with peace as the intention, that's the result. Okay.
So helpful. This is from Anonymous. Says, Suzanne once mentioned in an interview that there is a way to instantly remove karma from our present life. Could you explain this further?
Well, Suzanne is trying to remember that, and I don't recall saying that. I'm trying to recall. So we're not going to go to me. Don't rely on me for that one. Let me ask Spirit what they're saying. Is that we'll just get it fresh. They always like fresh answers. Is there a way to instantly remove karma from our what? From our life? Was that the question?
From our present life.
From our present life. Ah. And Spirit says, recognize that all there is this moment now. And the more power we give to the past, the more we make that part of our energy field now. If you claim your sovereignty in this moment and state, I wish to completely learn the lessons that these patterns have brought to this present moment. Show me what needs to be healed. Here we go again. So that we now move forward without the necessity of repeating this pattern. So it is, the guides say. Could it really be that simple? Yes. If you recognize over and over you're making the same choices that are not ending up as you'd like, if you're hitting the same wall over and over again, there's a lesson there. I can see in my life, one of my great challenges has been patience, because it's just an issue that keeps coming up. That's karma, right? Probably in a past life, something happened that I was very impatient, and I said, I'm going to go back and work on that. Well, till you finally get to the point when you understand how this works, you say, all right, enough of that. Set the intention, ask Spirit to work with you, reveal everything within your subconscious that needs to be seen to clear that out. And that's how it works. Cool.
The thing about these questions, Suzanne, oftentimes we do get a lot of repeat questions, but you don't always answer them the same exact way, and people hear them differently.
That's
I may
right.
have heard you answer it the same way before, but then I hear it this time and it hits me differently because I'm a different person than I was when you said it before.
That's right. And Spirit is showing me this right now, that that's your part of that you are growing and evolving all the time, but also they know who's listening. And they know that this group will need to hear the answers in a different way, which is why I've learned and trained myself. Don't just parrot the answer that I think it is. They say repeatedly, fresh is best.
Okay. Melissa's asking, how do we start opening up to spirit and others on the other side?
Oh my gosh. Well, you're doing it right now by exposing yourself to the higher energy of spirit and this group, where there's awareness that there's no separation between us. That's called love. And we really need to bask in that energy more often and take it into our awareness that that's who and what we are. This conscious field of interacting light beings with access to all experiences, all beings. That belief is step number one. Step number two is set the clear intention. And step number three is create space in your awareness to notice the different channels that are playing on this network of consciousness that you're able to tune into. So, loved ones across the veil, we call that the afterlife channel. It's right here. It's just a different frequency. We can't hear it because we're so focused on the outer world. So we do a practice that allows us to shut out the outer world regularly. My sip of the divine has gotten hundreds of thousands of people started on this path because it's just 3 minutes and you can't make up excuses for not spending 3 minutes trying to expand your awareness. The more you create that space, meaning the thoughts aren't taking over your mind, you're not allowing yourself to be distracted all the time by, did anybody email me? What's that text? All these distractions all the time. You create space for 3 minutes a day. That carries over throughout your day. And in the pauses between the busyness, you hear a thought and you suddenly realize, wait, that's not my thought. Could that be my guide? And now you engage that spark of consciousness that just snagged your attention. Who's here? What advice do you have for me? And on and on and on. That's it in a nutshell. I have so many opportunities to share this in detail with everybody. I'm going to take this moment. I prepared slides just to share with you. Lots of questions left. Let me just show you all what's going on coming up here soon. If you go to my homepage here that you see on the screen, that's SuzanneGiesemann.com. Scroll down and you'll see featured events. I'm really excited. We always have the 5 uppermost. If you're watching this now, Tuesday night, 2 hours of this kind of energy with the latest lessons from Spirit. And you can find it by clicking right there. We have a conference in person in San Rafael at the end of this month. We have the same conference in Atlanta in June, and I'll be meeting for a whole weekend with anybody who wants to join me in person at the Omega Institute in New York. Really excited about a Caribbean cruise at the end of March. 7 days going to Aruba and Curacao for fun. Like you can see here, the energy, but for me, it's the energy of spirit that people take home with them after 14 hours of sharing like this. As for that chakra clearing exercise I told you about, yeah, we have, the cruise can be a little pricey. Some of those weekend retreats, they take your time and your energy to go to them. But here on my website, on the menu, it says gifts. There's a whole menu of where to begin with all the gifts. You have my free Awaken Way app. And if you scroll down there, you'll see the 10-minute transformation that we just spoke about. You'll see all kinds of meditations, my journey of remembrance, which I'll be expanding on the coming cruise and letting everybody feel spirit's energy as we channel their guidance about that. Lots and lots of ways to interact with spirit. So if you're enjoying all of this, oh yeah, another bonus this year, Wolf's Message documentary. Let me bring that up full screen. Coming in just a few months. I've been working on the website all weekend. It's really coming together. So hopefully you're subscribed to my channel just by clicking there, and you will know when Wolf's Message is available. The trailer will be out anytime now, so you can get a taste of what's to come with that. So always lots of exciting things going on. The best part is when we get to interact like this. So thanks. Enough of that. Let's get back to questions.
Okay. This one is from Ellen. Is it possible to make wrong turns in this life, or is every decision and choice that we make leading us to what we need to learn?
Oh, Spirit says our word choice is so important that by using the term wrong, we've already labeled it as something that we don't want in our life. Is it possible to make turns that are not aligned with our soul's divine path? Everything is divine, but yes, that's what free will does. It's the wild card. It affords us an opportunity to learn by trial and error. And the body and its emotions, they all are beautiful indicators of when we're on track and when we get off track. They're not bad. They're not wrong. They're part of our wholeness. Oh, if we could only all just learn to, as Don Miguel Ruiz said, be impeccable with our words. We don't make wrong turns. We try a choice. Perhaps we weren't tuned in to spirit when we made that choice. Perhaps we were being willful and said, I'm going to do it anyway, even though we were tuned in. That again is the wild card. So I like to picture our soul's path like a highway. And we have all these little off ramps that we can go down and explore, but there's a part of us that knows where we're headed. So when we take an off ramp, it either feels good or it feels like something's out of alignment. As we tune into that and don't judge it as wrong or right, good or bad, then we more easily get back in the flow. It's just such a beautiful way to live. This is the awakened way, being guided moment by moment. And it is a beautiful way to live. And so, like, people look at me and they say, oh my God, she lives like that all the time. Her life is joyous and wonderful. No, it's not. It is most of the time, but oh, those moments of being out of alignment. I just had some of them the other day. I see where they came from. And sometimes I've said to spirit, I even knew that was going to happen to me, and I dove in anyway. I'll say, I'm going to tell everybody what it was, just so I'm transparent. We were invited to a wine expo, and I knew all day I was going to drink too much. I said to myself all day, oh, it's just little sips, but it's a lot of little sips. So I'll just have little sips, and maybe I won't have too much. But I knew I was going to have too much, Christy. Oh my gosh, did I have too much? Way more than I've had in a long time. And so yesterday morning, woke up. Whew, I wasn't sick, but I was so subdued, so out of sorts. When I sat to get the daily message, ooh, I had to pull out every tool in my metaphysical handbook to get back in alignment. And I just sat there and said, all right, what's the lesson in this? When I knew what was going to happen, was that deliberate? So you can see that, yes, we have free will, but some things we actually benefit from learning. So I sat this morning now feeling great again and said, okay, we don't need to do that again. We learned, did we finally learn that one? You know, that even a little bit of good things, when taken too much, that's the lesson. Oh, see, that's it. Oh my gosh. Oh, cool. That's why they had me put myself on report again for the lesson for all of us. Even too much of a good thing can be not the best choice. So relate that to yourselves, everybody, how your lessons, your body shows you when you've made a choice that is not necessarily wrong, but out of alignment with what is in your best interest. Okay.
And we are only human,
No,
right?
watch out, Christy. What's the only word, right?
We are human, and
Yes.
we are the hardest on ourselves. You know, did you have to step back and say, you know, it's okay. Don't be so judgy with yourself about
Well,
pointing
actually,
a finger at yourself.
I'm very proud of myself that I didn't judge myself. I just kept
Great.
saying, "Oh, this doesn't feel good." In the past, I definitely would have, but yeah, that's a great point. That's also an indicator. You know, how much are you judging yourself? Your soul isn't, spirit isn't. But yeah, great one.
That's beautiful. Okay. I'm sorry, this is from Ursula. She says, if we choose to come back to Earth to reincarnate, do we come back with the spiritual awareness we had developed from a previous life, or are we starting from scratch?
Spirit says it's a little of both, and to be cautious that when you say when we choose to come back, it's very easy for us in our human roles to think that we state your name are making that choice. The choice is coming from the higher self, which includes the story you're living now. So that's the both part. You're going to take aspects of this life that you want to work on, but the higher self is excited about having another go at it. Did I answer that one fully?
I think so.
Okay. All right. Good.
This one is kind of personal for me. Do we get messages from our pets from across the veil?
Tell everybody why it's personal for you.
We had to put down our 19-year-old cat before Thanksgiving. And she had a very long life and very happy existence and provided us much love, but it's still very sad and we miss her so much.
Of course. So would you repeat that question again? Because I got distracted
Do we receive messages and connect with our animals across the veil?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. In fact, I met with somebody yesterday. I said, "Where's your dog?" And I mean, he said, "Oh, she passed." And I immediately said, "Oh, some medium you are, Suzanne." Because, I just go, see, that was judgy. That was definitely judgy, but that was because I was in total human mode. But sit to do a reading, expand awareness. And anybody that you don't have to be a medium to do this. Sit quietly, expand awareness with the intention of connecting with that beautiful light that is your pet still across the veil, and you can receive messages. In the meantime, ask them to give you signs. I said to this guy right away, "So what signs have you gotten?" And he's not part of this community. He's not in this group. And he looked at me like, "Signs?" And I told him, "Yeah, when our dog passed, he used to, for the whole year before he died, Rudy would walk across our feet in the middle of the night and stare at the door like 2 a.m. I have to go out," because he was a little old man, right? And Ty every night would get up and take him outside without complaint. That he was so happy to do that for our little boy. So I don't know, it's like 2 months after Rudy passed, we were both sound asleep, and suddenly both of us woke up, looked at each other and said, "Did you feel that?" We both, ooh, goosebumps, felt Rudy walk across our feet, just like he used to. And when I shared that story with this guy yesterday, he said, "Well, as a matter of fact," and told a story that was an NOE, a no other explanation moment than that his dog was getting a sign through. Christy, I'm being guided to ask you about signs from your cat already.
I have a great sign. After we got back to the house, I cleaned up all of Missy's things, and she slept with me in the bed. I changed the sheets on the bed. I vacuumed the whole room. I even got down on my knees and vacuumed under the bed. And the next day, I walked in my room. I have a bench at the end of my bed, and I saw something on the bench, and I walked over there, and it was a piece of cat food. And then I look down on the floor, and there's like 4 or 5 crumbs of cat food on the floor.
Oh, definitely an NOE. No other explanation. I know you
No
told
other
me this before.
explanation.
I forgot it, and that's why Spirit said she's got a good one. Oh my gosh. And no other pets in the house, right?
No other pets in the house.
So no other cat carried that onto the stool.
No,
Yeah.
no. And I sense her where she would normally sleep a lot of times. And I also one night felt her walk across the bed. So
Yeah. Ty has heard Rudy's ear shake 2 times, clear as if it's in the room. And it is. It's just another energy field that penetrated the veil and is heard on this channel. So I know you all have your own stories. If you don't have them yet, some of you, then just ask to help you be more aware. Yay, good one.
Suzanne, you're a little bit blurry. Can you
Yeah.
see if maybe you can, I don't know if
Nope.
it's,
I
nope.
don't know. Maybe it's just you because it looks clear to me.
Okay.
There's
Perfect.
nothing I can do to
Great.
fix.
Okay, this is from Anonymous. How do you explain the connection you can feel with someone that you just met?
Oh,
You feel like you've known them a long time.
okay. 2 aspects to this. Hang on, I'm going to make a note. Oh, Spirit says, put your pen away. You don't need notes because they've got this. Okay. The first reason is that encounter was likely guided from across the veil, that you are meant to meet them and that you have known each other for lifetime upon lifetime. Okay? That's Spirit. The second reason is a matter of resonance. When 2 energy fields have a frequency that matches somehow, not exactly, no one person's energy field will be exactly like another one, not even identical twins, because we have our own experiences and ways of thinking and perceiving the world. So that changes our energy field. But if 2 people share similar interests, share similar mindsets, notice how my hands are making the form of a wave here, energy form, and they are in phase, that's resonance. And you click. I'm going to a party this afternoon. It's a welcome back party for a lovely member of our community. I had done a reading for her sometime back because her husband passed not too many years ago. And oh, Christy, we got the word that her son and grandson were killed in a car accident probably about 8 months ago now, and her other grandson badly injured. She has spent all this time since then living with her daughter-in-law and other grandson to help them get their feet back on the ground. She's back now, and one of our lovely neighbors has brought together a party to welcome her home. And I was just thinking about that normal human behavior when we walk into a party, and there's always that little bit of shuttling of our energy fields, as you say, who am I going to resonate with and who am I not going to resonate with? A little bit of discomfort from the human side because we don't like that feeling when we don't click with someone, and we gravitate to those we do click with. And then there'll be that moment where you meet someone that you felt you've known your whole life because you were meant to meet. The hostess of this party was sitting next to me at a Christmas party 2 years ago, and Spirit guided me to just, start up certain questions in the conversation. Come to find out, her husband passed, and it was one of those hearing bells ring, absolutely a spirit set up. So when you all feel that resonance with someone, when you feel you've known them before, don't just wonder what's the connection. Do what we guided you to do earlier. Set time aside, drop down into the heart space, ask Spirit, what's the connection here? What question can I ask to lead to an awareness of how we're here to help each other? That's living the awakened way.
Wonderful. And we are here to help each other, right?
Yeah.
This is from Robbie. Can you explain expanding your awareness and how to be aware and see from the heart?
There's the moment. This is the moment, Christy. This is the moment. Before we started, I told her that I have props all around me, just the normal knickknacks that are on my desk, little things that are my reminders of spirit. But spirit actually told me to go get a prop that I've only brought out once or twice in the years that I've had it. And they said the question will come up and you will know when the moment is here and why it came up, and that this is the moment. So I have it at my side here. I've used this before and I almost poked my eye out with it. So I'm going to have to be very careful. But the question, if I recall, is explain how to expand our consciousness. And what was the following?
And be aware, see from the heart.
And see from the heart. Okay. So this, I'm going to go full screen, Christy, okay, so they can see me. This is called a Hoberman sphere, Hoberman, maybe two N's, I don't know. I found it on Amazon after somebody showed it to me once because it is the coolest thing for an analogy of not who we are, but what our energy field is like. We are the center of our own field of energy. That's what this represents. In our human form, in our physical form, our energy is kind of dense and closely held in and limited. But if you've done my Bless Me method, excuse me, each of those letters stands for a different stage in the 7 steps to connecting with higher consciousness. Breathe, lift your vibration, and then the E, the first one, is expand your consciousness. So I'm about to give you a visual of how to expand your energy field. The word mind is synonymous with consciousness. The mind is the container for your energy field of thoughts and sensations and feelings. While you're focused on your human self, it's condensed like this. You ready? Do not poke myself in the eye. To expand your consciousness, simply take in a breath, and as you exhale, picture your energy field doing this. Isn't that cool? I'm going to fall off my chair. So you go expand. And now you are in a state of expanded consciousness from the center of it, the heart of you. I never put my head in there like that before. But even then, that has boundaries. You can just take this to the far limits by expanding even beyond those expanded boundaries and becoming limitless, which is what we ultimately all are as the ultimate consciousness with a capital C. So these kinds of analogies, these visualizations actually move consciousness. So when I do the expand part of the 7 steps to raising your consciousness, you can find that video on my YouTube channel. I've taken that breath and picture my sphere and go, and you can hear that breath. I picture the limits dissolving after I've expanded as far as I can, like the Hoberman sphere. And I actually state aloud, I am limitless. And you feel it. And what does that mean for us now? Now we are attuned to and aligned with all that is. All experiences, past, present, and future. All beings who have ever and will ever exist. Why? Because we are all aspects of this field of consciousness. This is such cool stuff. And I really love how Spirit knew that question would be asked today in a way that was obvious. I hope this is helpful to everybody. And why not have a little fun with it, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, this is from Melissa. If someone has a traumatic death, do they have peace, calm, joy, and happiness in the afterlife? Or are they not at peace or stuck somewhere, not able to move on?
All right. I used to vehemently deny that anybody could be in anything less than a totally loving state immediately after a trauma, until a psychic medium who I greatly respect showed me a photo that I just could not deny was an image of a spirit immediately after some trauma, looking quite shocked. And I asked Spirit about this, and the answer that I got was yes, and it is happening in the realm of no time, no space, and that shock is immediately buffered, I'm being told now to use that word, by the loving energy that is felt by the soul in awareness. The soul never loses awareness that it is playing a role, but the role has to now catch up with the soul's awareness. This is much easier once we're no longer in a body. So when someone is catapulted out of their body at the moment of trauma, and Christy, I am acutely aware you have a very personal stake in this because her daughter Tess passed as a result of trauma. The focus of that personality is on the body, but as the focus expands, there's awareness. Wait, I'm looking at my body, so I'm not my body. I'm more than my body. And as this awareness arises and expands, now that personality becomes aware of loving beings here to help withdraw the total identification with the body and expand it to the reality. Wait, this is a new state of consciousness. All is well. So just like when we can make a choice to veer off our soul's path, the soul always has a choice to allow that love that we're now really bathed in, now that we're feeling it. We're always bathed in the love, Spirit reminds me, but we feel it more intensely without this layer of the physical veil. We feel it intensely now, and we make the choice to say, this is my path, and awaken to that love. We still identify with the personality because we have loved ones still in physical form that want to communicate with us, and our communication with them helps their path while we're across the veil. So the personality will always exist because there's going to be more growth to be had. I don't resonate with that term stuck. It's a choice. Some souls are slower to make that choice. They say don't use the word soul. Some aspects of the soul are still clinging to the personality and are slower to make the higher choice, but there's no time. So please do not think of your loved ones suffering for all eternity. It's an experience that is quickly remedied by making the choice, sometimes guided by others who say, hey, look around you. You're in the love right now. Making that choice and then living from that higher state.
Is that part of the reason our loved ones greet us when we cross the veil?
I've never heard that question asked that way, but as soon as it started coming out of your mouth, there was a yes, of course, feeling from Spirit. There's the goosebumps. Yeah. So you have that reminder right away. And in the awareness of the personality, there's but wait, you passed. You're in that different realm, but here you are, and you feel the love, you feel the connection, and you realize I'm still here, you're still here. I didn't really die. Absolutely part of the process and the plan.
That's so comforting, and that's what everyone wants to know about our loved ones when they pass. Are they okay? Are they happy? Are they safe? Are they all the good things? And that's very brings peace to us here to know that that's what's happening.
But Christy, it's so important to me when I work as a medium to not say the answers to those questions as palliative palliative words just to make people feel better. Oh, yes, they're safe. Oh, yes, they're happy. Oh, yes, they feel good. They need to give me evidence that this answer is coming from them. And I have not yet met a personality within a soul from across the veil that is not aware of being completely surrounded by peace and love. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Here's a question from Amy. She says, after meditation the other night, I turned my camera on and captured a ton of beautiful orbs. She says, can you describe? But I think she means, can you explain?
Yes, yes, yes. We see orbs and we think, oh, solid object that's sitting there in the picture, like the chair and like the picture on the wall. You've just caught a light being, an aspect of consciousness, and thank you, an energy field, an energy field in motion with your camera, but it stopped it when the shutter lens opened. So you'll notice on ring cameras and movies, you can see them moving. And I remember doing a reading years ago for a woman. I said, your daughter is showing me I'm a shooting star. You're going to see me, Mom. And that night, her security camera, she went to check on it. And on the screen, she could see what she could not see with her naked eye. This orb that went like a shooting star right across the camera. I still have this video. Her dog lying in the middle of the floor goes, like, what the heck was that? Because dogs' brains attune to different frequencies than ours do. So their reality is different. Their experiences are different. So who's to say that that isn't an energy field? And who's to say your daughter isn't standing right behind you right now, right?
I've seen some pretty incredible pictures of orbs. One of the best ones I've seen is a friend of mine, her ring camera caught some orbs. And when you looked at it closely, it was the exact face of another friend of ours' son.
Oh.
And who he comes through to lots of people a lot of times. But it was plain as day, his face in that orb.
I would love to see that.
And then send it.
Please do. And then my good friend Jean Else, who is the wife of Mavis Patilla, my beautiful friend and original mentor in mediumship. I wrote the book Droplets of God about her and spent a week with Jean and Mavis at their house. Jean sent me a video. Before Mavis passed, she had a beloved little nephew, maybe great nephew, who has some challenges, perhaps autism, I can't remember yet. And Mavis was always doing healing for him, and he loved it, and he asked her to give her that good energy. He could feel it. And she said she was going to continue helping him and healing him across the veil. Well, the camera in his bedroom captured 7 orbs in a row. Think 7 chakras stacked up, moving down the front of this little boy and then moving back up and hovering like this around the front of him. That's not dust motes being picked up by a camera. I know that was Mavis. It's just beyond belief. If anybody had told me back when I, wore Navy uniform, you're going to be talking about energy fields, doing healing on bodies and capturing them on your cameras, I might have dismissed that. I ask all of you listening to be open-minded and ask, is this helpful and healing? Show me more. I want to know more.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, this question is from Anonymous. How can we teach children to trust spirit or even believe that spirit is real?
Oh, they already do. So we simply need to encourage them to listen to their heart, meaning when you have good feelings inside, ask what that's all about, talk to the angels, just encourage them lovingly, and the guides say we actually will learn a lot from them.
Oh, that's so sweet. Here's one from Leanne. Does grief keep us from connecting with our loved ones? I try not to be depressed, but feel this may be keeping my energy low.
Well, it's interesting that you asked that question, because Spirit has answered this question many times, and they say again, it can, but do not hold that belief so strongly that the belief itself stops you from connecting. But the reason that's so interesting to me right now is when I sat across the room in my chair the other day, and okay, I hear you. When I sat across the room the other day, no, just yesterday, trying to get the daily message through the fog of having too many sips of wine at the wine expo, I thought to myself, this is what it must be like for those in grief who try to connect with their loved ones. Now, I've been there myself, but that was before I learned to connect. So I didn't, when I was grieving the death of my stepdaughter, Susan, I was meditating, but I didn't have the kind of connection I have now. It took a long time to clear that energy. So it did get in the way, but I wasn't aware of this. That's the point. I wasn't aware of the difference between being clear and having awareness clouded over by grief. So the guides say that your daily practice of expanding consciousness, honoring the grief and understanding that grief comes in waves, will allow you to tune in more and more as you're processing your grief, so that when the grief has lifted to the point where you can now connect, you're well practiced already in expanding your consciousness. That's why they're advising not to just say, well, I'm grieving, so I can't connect. You do the connection practice to exercise that ability to expand your consciousness, so that in those moments when the grief is not swamping you, you're far more likely to connect. And over time, then, that connection leads to the parting of the veil.
I think too, even if you don't feel like you're connecting with your loved one, you're connecting with source. And that in and of itself is bringing you peace and healing, maybe even if you don't realize it.
Beautiful, beautiful point. Oh, before you go on, Christy, when I said, oh, I got this, they were also telling me that some of you wanted to know what some of the other props on my desk are.
I know I do.
I already somebody said I should do a video where I walk around the room with my camera and show what's in the whole room here. I'll have to figure out the logistics of how to do that. But this is just a little cherub that reminds me to connect with my guides regularly. I talk about this in my book, The Awakened Way, ways to give yourself reminders. And that's what these all are. I don't like clutter, and my house is not cluttered, but this room has a lot of knickknacks that are meaningful. So for example, this is just a beautiful amethyst with little Herkimer diamonds that I found myself in a diamond mine in Arkansas. I have this candle over here that says inspire, because that's my mission. To remember, it's not about me, it's about inspiring others on their own path. I have a necklace there hanging on a picture frame that says faith, written in the handwriting of a young girl I brought through from across the veil to her mom. She had those necklaces made up as the way to honor her daughter, and the reading was so healing for her. She gave me one of those necklaces. Oh gosh. I have a statue of Mary that, even though I'm not Catholic, a beautiful friend gave to me as I began to awaken more to the divine feminine in me. That's something I'm going to be talking a lot about Tuesday night in the monthly connection, because finding that balance, I believe that was part of today's message from Spirit in the Awakened Way messages. Well, I don't want to give too much away, but this morning in meditation, I'm almost always pulled to the left, where I feel either Jesus or Archangel Michael or other masculine masters. This morning, such a strong pull to the right with this caressing, loving energy. And it was just the awareness that due to certain efforts I've made lately, I'm opening to more of that feminine energy. And boy, does that feel good. Yeah. So if all of us can remember that, the connection will be much easier across the veil. So that's just a few of my little tchotchkes, as we call them. There are many more, and I hope you all will have sacred objects around you that take you to the heart and remind you who you really are.
Before Tess even passed, the summer before she passed, I started connecting with Mary. And I'm not Catholic. I was not raised Catholic. Didn't know where that came from. And I, of course, know now, but I also think it plays a part of my discovery of and my exploration of the divine feminine. And I
No wonder
just
you
love that you
smiled.
said that.
I saw you like kind of laugh with joy, and I said, "What's that all about?" But yeah.
And it's funny because I can't find the question now, but I keep going back to this question that a woman had asked about why does it seem like there's always predominantly more women in these groups?
And that is, let me get Spirit's answer to that. There is a real difference between how the left hemisphere of the brain processes experiences and energy and information, and how the right hemisphere of the brain does that. And the left brain is more step by step, using logic, using thinking, categorizing things. The right brain is just flow. And that's what allows us to tap into the flow of energy information that is constantly flowing through us from the universe. But we block it when we are out of balance and using the left hemisphere. Meditation dampens those left brain processes and activates more of our intuitive side. Women are naturally more intuitive. Why, I'm asking now? Oh, it's part of the plan. It's part of our makeup. That's just the way we're energetically balanced that way. But by culture and choices, we can go off balance. I made the choice, and it was part of my plan, to be a Navy officer. And I was totally immersed in a man's world. And that's why now I resonate still with these masculine guides, but I'm so thrilled that through my journey, I'm now bringing in the more feminine guides, because I've dampened the left side enough that the right hemisphere is allowing me to access more. That the connection any of you have with Spirit is an indication that you're coming more into balance with the right side. So it's a roundabout way of answering the question of why more women in these events. They're already flowing with the intuitive side that all of us have. Now we just all, if we can, as we can come into balance, see the yin yang symbol. Both are valuable. Both are part of the wholeness. Yet that feminine energy is more related to creativity, wisdom, and guidance from source. And that's sure what we need to find more peace and be guided by source in all of our decisions. So, wow, long answer there.
It's beautiful, though. I love that. There's been a number of questions about specific events that are happening right now that I think maybe you could just answer in general how we can send love and healing to people who are suffering right now.
And that's the perfect question to wrap this up today with. When you recognize that you are a field of energy information, a light being, energy information, light consciousness, those are all synonymous terms. You control how that is sent out to the world with your superpower of consciousness. So visualize yourself at the center of this orb, your energy field, and breathe your love outward to the world. And know that just like a droplet of rain on a pond sends ripples outward, your love is going outward, and other fields pick it up and pass it along. It doesn't ever end. your love that you radiate outwards, also anything less than love, goes out infinitely and becomes part of the field of all that is, the field of consciousness. So it's so important what we send to the world, but to do so with intention truly makes a difference. Spirit says that that's the challenge, that most of us think, well, I'm just one person. What difference can I make? But we're all points of light radiating. As we turn up our light, can't you see how the whole turns up? It may seem imperceptible to you that one light out of 8 billion can make a difference in humanity, but Spirit says it is felt. Your love is absolutely felt every time you turn it up. So you do make a difference by sending your love in the hopes that it heals our world.
Got goosebumps on that one.
Here we go. Well, Christy, if I had the energy, I would sit here for hours and talk with everybody, but I feel that we've met our mission here today and just enjoyed the love with everybody. I know I've settled down. That high energy I was feeling now, I'm just buzzing completely. How about you?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, and it's going to take a little while to come back down, but really, why come back down, right? Just this is the thing, everybody. The more you sit in this high vibe that I know you all are feeling now, this changes your energy field permanently. You're able to hold more of that energy, and your light is naturally glowing brighter. So thank you for joining us, because together, see, that's exponential, what we're radiating. So thank you all for joining us here. We'll be doing more of these, and I hope to see you in some of those events I talked about. But meanwhile, holding you all in our heart. Christy, thank you so much. This was just...
Thank you, Suzanne, and thank you everyone for joining us.
Okay. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.